Happy Sunday to everybody. I want to say happy Sunday to you. And this is a special Valentine's Day Moments of Clarity. I just happen to be in the studio with two of my favorite people, George and friend Sheila Straughter, aka Just George and aka Sheila Speaks, better known as Two Dope Souls. They're in the building, and it's Valentine's Day. So listen, grab the person that you love and bring them closer. Share the live, share the vibes. We're gonna have some great conversations today, and it doesn't even matter where you are in your relationship status. So if you're single, we're gonna have some great conversations for you. If you are married, we're gonna have some great conversations for you. If you are undecided, we're gonna have some great conversations for you. Wherever you fit in that spectrum, we're gonna have some great conversations for you. And I promise you, there are gonna be some amazing moments of clarity today. So listen, strap in, share the live, share the vibes, invite your friends, tell them, listen, it's going down today on Moments of Clarity, because we're here with Two Dope Souls. Hey, and we're back, and so I just want to welcome my best friends on the earth, my literal brother and sister in the building, Two Dope Souls. Thank you guys so much for spending a part of your love day here with Jen Trey. I appreciate it so much. How you guys doing today?
We're doing amazing. How are you, darling?
I love all of that.
I know why she's talking like that. She wasn't talking like that before.
How are you, darling?
It's something that I did. Yeah, I'm doing amazing. I'm doing good. It's been a great day, actually.
It has been a restful day.
Has it?
That's good.
For me. I don't know about him, but it's been restful for me. I made a point to have some rest today, okay?
Hey, that's what's up. And so those of you that are in the room, as you are coming into the room, please share the live, share the vibes. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you for your comment. Hey, how you doing, love? Listen, it's a whole vibe today. Listen, we're here today, and we're just going to dive into some conversations. You guys, how long have you all been married? I know, but I want you to tell our audience that may not know.
How long have we been married?
That's up for debate.
Here you go.
Because he says we've been married for 23 years. I actually say it's been 24.
But you know the truth. It is 24 years.
I mean, 20. No.
This year is our 24th year. See, you've been lying for so long.
This year is the 24th year, but I already thought this year was 24 and we were moving into 25. So you know how females used to be the one to know all the dates and stuff? That's not me. He's the one to know the dates more.
What you trying to say? Call me a bitch?
I'm not calling you that. I'm just saying females normally know the dates, not.
Finish it. Fix it up.
So we've been married 23 years. It'll be 24 years this year.
24. Thank you. Finally got it right. In 24 years, you finally get. But you don't mean it, though. You don't believe it, do you?
I don't.
Hey, you all are
somewhere around there. I'll let you do the math and be the judge. We got married October the 16th, 1997. Now you at least read it there.
I agree about the wedding.
Okay, so her math is off. That's all.
Hey, that's what's up. Listen, so Two Dope Souls, you guys have been married 24-ish years. So a question right off top. What is the magic? What is the thing that keeps you guys interested and constantly involved and want to stay together? It's been 24 years.
For me, her.
Oh, that's good. Okay, Sheila Speaks. I'm ready. I'm waiting.
I don't know what to say. What do you say behind that? For me, her, okay, I don't want to be, just say what he said, but if I have to say something, I would say that this is good for me. How
am I good for you? I mean, because everything that is good to you and good for you, they tell little girls that.
That's true, right?
But you said I'm good for you. So how am I good?
Because all of us in life need accountability, right? And I'm the person that in the beginning of this relationship, I didn't want to hear that. I don't want to hear no accountability. You got the problem, not me. Okay? That was always the issue with me. I can't say it with him, but that was always the issue with me. So for him, for me, it's him. Everything that he does for me, it brings me back to a center. Brings me back to a center. So that's why.
A center or a center?
A center.
Because we do that sometimes too. We get together.
A CENTER.
Oh, okay.
Center.
All right.
Brings me back
Come
to
on, school teacher.
Come on, class clown.
Come on.
Go ahead, man.
So it brings me back to a center. So for me, it is him keeping me accountable. Not just for my actions, but for our actions together as a couple.
Dude, you do the same thing for me. I mean, of course you do the same thing for me. I think we keep each other accountable. I said something I was teaching on my on one of my broadcasts, my podcast the other day, and I began to talk about accountability and responsibility. And I said we have to be careful by charging people to be responsible when they first have not learned how to be accountable.
Right.
And I began to talk about how accountability is a mathematical term. That you have to first account and assess and count up the ability that you have, and then you can respond to it. If you don't have any accountability, you don't have any responsibility. So once you respond to that ability, you can be responsible for it. And I think that both of us are accountable to each other because we hold a certain value. If you want to talk about respect in relationships, you cannot have mutual respect in relationships if you do not hold value and worth in the other person. If you don't account for the ability that's good for you in that other person, then you can properly respond to it. Because if you don't know the use of a thing, then abuse is inevitable.
Wow.
If you don't know the use of a wife, you get wife abuse. If you don't know the use of a drug, you have drug abuse, and so forth and so forth. But when you know the use of a thing or a person, you don't abuse it, but you use it in a proper fashion based on its worth. You have something to bring to the table. They have something to bring to the table.
And speaking of the accountability portion, like we really are accountable to each other. We really do hold each other accountable. We hold each other accountable for our words.
We keep each other
we hold each other accountable for our actions. Like we don't allow the other person to just blow off situations. Like it's just not even gonna happen. Like no, you knew you were wrong when you did it. You knew you were wrong when you said it. But let's talk about it. So we're constantly in communication mode. We're constantly in communication.
But we don't do that in friendship, though. We don't let stuff blow off. No, you know what I'm saying?
Just try to keep us accountable.
We need to talk, right? I mean, it spews over. It's however you operate relationally on one level, it's going to spill over to another. So if you didn't get it growing up, if you didn't get it into your culture, it's something that you need to learn and put into practice. Because if not, then all of your relationships will be lopsided. Yeah, it'll be jacked up. Seriously. But yeah, it begins with us. We keep each other accountable, and I think that's what keep all of our other relationships healthy. Because how we handle each other, we teach people how to handle us, and we handle them the same way. I believe. Yeah.
I think that's dope. I think that's freaking amazing, and I want you guys to communicate because I feel like a lot of what you all was saying is are lessons that single people need to get right now. Because especially around this time of year, I think, single people get depressed, and even some people lower their standards and get in relationships just to have somebody for the holidays, just to have a boo for Christmas, just to have a boo for Valentine's Day. So these are definitely values that you all have in your relationship now. So what would you say to single people that are itching on many levels? But I mean, okay.
Stop. First of all, stop trying to jump into something. I just got to talk about this on my I Am Light on Vigo. Stop trying to jump into something that you don't have the capacity to hold. If you cannot hold yourself together, you cannot hold a relationship together. Point blank and period. If you breaking down every chance you get as a single person, then you are not going to make it with somebody else with more issues. I'm just saying, because when you come together, he comes with his issues, I come with mine. We come together and try to fix each other. When in actuality, you cannot fix the other person. You got to fix yourself. So before you jump into a relationship, stop and fix you. Now, it's good for those that are single right now. Stay single.
As long as you can.
Oh, did SheliaSpeaks just say that? Is she married for 24 years? Stay single. Yeah. Because if I had stayed single, and I've been married twice, so I should have stayed single the first time, and I'm good now. Go ahead.
I was waiting to see what you're going. How you going?
Nah, see how I cleared it up. quick I cleared
I
it
was
up.
like,
So I've been married before. So the first relationship I should have stayed single in, but I learned from that relationship, okay? And that relationship makes me a better wife today. But when it concerns singleness, if you can stay single for as long as you can. Now, mind you now, you know, when you get married to somebody, you marry that person completely. Everything about them is what you get.
And what they have,
you catch. So if you are already crazy and local like a baser, and that person's crazy and local like a baser,
you get locked up.
Oh, it's on and popping. Y'all both could be with straight jackets on.
And since you're coming with all that baggage, at least hook up with somebody that's willing
to carry,
to help you unpack it.
But when it concerns singleness, stop, wait, find you, heal you, set you free, and then go find the person that is doing the same thing and come together.
The problem is that we've been so conditioned and programmed by this westernized culture, is that we don't work on self first. We are cultured and programmed and conditioned to work on others and things outside.
That's the problem.
And so the problem is that we too busy looking for someone to fix us.
Yes.
We are too busy being a have, looking for someone to make us a whole. When we should become whole first.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't work like that.
And so it kind of messes us up, and it kind of ruins the person's life that we bring into our discombobulated world. Now, don't get me wrong, they made a decision to come into our world as well. And what I'm saying is that we're not educated on how relationships work because we're still reading fairy tales and storybooks. People don't realize that I do's and jumping the brooms and marriage was only invented or came around a few hundred years ago. These things are romanticized.
I think the best example I could give of a true love story and how people come into relationships separately and you have your own issues is The Princess and the Frog. Okay?
Let's go.
The Princess and the Frog.
That's dope. That's real dope.
Think about it. He was a frog. He had his own issues.
Wait, it was dope. Go ahead.
He was a frog, right? He had his own issues. Watch this. He dealt with his issues. He acknowledged his issues. And then when she came along, it wasn't the kiss that changed him to a prince. It was him recognizing who he was that changed him into the person that he needed to be. So that's the true example of going into a relationship just as you are and changing as you grow in that relationship. Now, if you're not willing to grow and change and evolve in a relationship, stay single.
So there is so much to unpack in what you guys said. I think that's dope. I think everything you said is freaking accurate, on point. What would you say to single people? Because people can say, "Hey, well, you got your man, you got your wife, y'all sitting there together, and y'all all wonderful. And how do you tell me to stay on ice?" Because you understand, because single people there are people that are watching that in their mind, I got needs, I got stuff I need taken care of, and you telling me to stay single. What does that mean?
All right, so get those needs taken care of. Marriage does not solve
the need.
Any need, any sexual need that you have, any as the church would say, flesh need that you have. Go ahead and get all that you are. I think the best example of taking care of that is the original Coming to America. Get on a plane and go out there and sow your wild oats. Go get it. What your daddy tell you when you was growing up?
Get it while you're young.
Not a bad piece of advice. Because you get married while you're young, and now you're out there still trying to get it, and now you're alive to this poor man, alive to this woman, or whatever you're hooked up with, and there you are, and now you get a divorce 5 years later over something that was an issue 5 years ago.
And so the problem, Gentry, with what, like you said, single people say, how you gonna tell me to put it on ice and y'all sitting there all cuddled up at night, room and stuff, and I'm in the bed cold feet. At the end of the day, understand this. You can take care of you outside of another person, however that may be. Whatever, okay?
Just be able to, it's an expensive habit, so you got to be able to afford batteries. Expensive habit. Go ahead.
So all we're saying is you can have a significant other in your life and you don't have to be married See, the problem, you know, we grew up in a different environment. We grew up in an environment that said you had to be married to be with a person. You had to be married to live with a person. You have to. You don't know why people shack up. You don't know why people shack up in the words that I grew up in. You don't know what it could be financial. And they need to take caretaker, and that caretaker just happen to be their lover. I mean, you just never know why people live together. You cannot criticize a person for the life plan that they have, the choices they have to make in life.
Together because they're smashing. That's okay.
But that's what I'm just saying. Let's get to that together. But what I'm saying is that is the ultimate reason why more people move in together. That's not just roommates, because they actually are together. So my thing is, when it concerns singleness, yeah, we're not saying be on hold, but we're just saying don't rush to be married.
Right. Don't rush to get tied up and to commit your. Let me explain something to you. 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 32 is too young to have an absolute decision about anything in life, especially something that you're going to commit your entire life to. So think about this. You're 20 years old. You're falling in love. I'm sorry, you call it love. You fall in love and you get infatuated and you're head over heels in an idea. You're head over heels in surface. You're head over heels. You understand what I'm saying? You're very shallow in this season, and you can only judge and accept and gravitate to something based on where the current location of your soul, the current location of your mindset. Do you not know from 20 to 40, your mindset evolves, it grows up, Jermaine, it evolves, it grows, it develops. And do you not understand that who you are at 20 is who you will not be at 40? The way you think at 20.
You will not think that way.
The way, watch this, your faith at 20
will not be the same.
The way you walk and talk at 20
is not the way it's going to be.
Your philosophy. You may be a person at 20 that don't believe in conspiracy theories. You just had a faith or one religion, and that was going to solve everything. But then as you grew, you started to get caught up in conspiracy theories, and you started to realize the world don't work the way it does, and this and that. And then the thoughts that you had at 20, you no longer have at 30. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. The thoughts that you have at 30, you no longer have at 40. So that's why I say 19 and 20 and 25 is too young to make any absolute decision about anything, especially spending the rest of your life with a person. Yeah, I said it, try before you buy. Because once you get caught up too early, after 20 years, guess what, Gentry? It's cheaper to keep.
You better say it. You see, he's still here.
Hey, I just don't want to go broke. You remember Eddie Murphy, right? Hi, Eddie. I done built my whole empire with this woman. If she leaves now, she's getting half of all. So I'm trying to play it smart.
Yeah.
So
she is in position.
She's in position too. See, she's assumed the position. I'm not messing up. Listen, Facebook, I'm not messing up. No. I'm gonna be a good boy.
So you all, as a couple, you all have come a long way. 24 years being together, but then also your journey started off in ministry. So for people that maybe on Facebook that follow you all and that followed your ministry for so long, this is our talk time today is vastly different from what you would have been talking about, let's say 5-10 years ago.
Like this would not be the conversation of topic, right?
Right.
Yes, for a lot of people out there that know George and Sheila, two dope souls, that knew us past 2.5 to 3 years ago. You knew us as Bishop and Pastor Straughter.
An overseer.
Straughter, right? We were in the church. We had ministry. We still have ministry, so don't get it twisted. Ministry is meeting the need of the people.
That's all it is.
Okay, that's all ministry is. Meeting the need of the people. And we're still meeting needs. We're just not meeting it inside the church house. We're meeting it around the world. Okay. So we've grown not out of what we were in to evolve to another level in our mindset and in our thinking, where we're not so much as in the box as we were before. We were confined to what we understood in our faith, okay? So with that, it caused boundaries, and it caused us to not think outside the box.
Even with us.
Even with each other. We didn't think outside the box with each other. Now there's no box, to be honest with you. Now we have boundaries, don't get it mixed up, but there's no box.
There's no box. And with that being said, because there's no box, you know what I'm saying? We're free. With each other, with our communication, with our thinking, with our ideas.
Right. There used to be a time, Gentry, because you've been knowing us for all these years, right? And for those of you who are watching, there used to be a time that he could not, I don't know if you even know this, but there used to be a time that he could not tell me that a woman was sexy.
How come I don't know that?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I used to tell you about it all the time.
She's sexy. What you mean she's sexy?
He couldn't tell me that. He couldn't tell me how fine the woman was or how cute.
That's what I mean. She hot.
I was like, what you mean? What you looking over there for, first of all? Like, oh, you got all this goodness over here. Why are you looking over there? But at the end of the day, he's a man. And I'm a woman. So how fair is it for me to tell him not to look at women when I'm sitting there go, oh, he got some muscles over there, girl.
That part.
Okay?
She's just not honest about it.
I'm just not honest about it. I just wasn't open enough to tell him that I was watching a man walk by while he was watching a woman. That was then. This is now. I'll tell him, baby, ain't she sexy? Because it is what it is. If the woman's sexy, she's sexy. I will tell him before he tell me because I know he already looking. Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay? I am a wise wife, okay? I'm a wise wife. Believe that.
These are definitely amazing and great conversations. So I heard you say that you all definitely inspire each other to stay together, which I think is phenomenal. I think it's dope. I want to come back and I want to try to keep this conversation or some of this conversation in balance, where we are talking about couples, where we're also talking about. So you say so the theme or the series is relationship goals.
Yes.
Do you think that everybody that's alive on the planet, I know the answer, but I want you to talk through it, because we got to get people to understand some things, right? We want to illuminate some ignorance wherever possible. So do you think that everybody on the planet will be married? I know the answer, but I want y'all to talk through some of that to help people.
Well, let me just go, because you're a logician, right? So let me just go with the logic first. Impossible. I don't care what church you go to. I don't care who your shaman is, who your psychic reader is, who your spiritualist is, or your spiritual advisor. I don't care what they told you, how many prophecies you have. It's impossible. And even if you were told that you were going to be married or you're supposed to be married, more than likely you're not. Remember that I told you that marriage was just invented into our society. Marriage is Western culture, at least the way that we marry. It's Western culture, okay? So Western culture is very new. It's the new world. We're not talking about the old world right now. So let's just deal with logic. The logic is that the female gender outnumbers the male, like 3 times over almost on this planet. Now, if everybody is going to get married, it won't be heterosexual. If everybody's going to get married, it's going to have to be everybody for themselves. And you know what I'm saying? So not in the traditional marriage way, not Leave the Beaver, not QC church way, not boy, girl. But if everybody's going to get married, it'll be boy, girl, girl, girl. It'll be all mixed up, and maybe a few animals in between if you get that far into the year. No, I'm being very honest. Amen. I'm being very honest.
To each his own, right?
And that's in the Bible. They was doing animals.
It's in there already.
Okay. So that's a lot for people to process, and so
that's the logic part. That's the logic part. That no, forget all the spiritual part and the desire, and you know, and your mama was married in 3 generations. The logical part of it is there's not enough men to match the women on the planet. So if everybody will get married, there will at least be 1 million divorces on top of every marriage, at least.
Double up the marriage.
You have to be Elizabeth Taylor. They have to be married at least 20 times in one lifetime.
They'll get married, but it won't work, and then somebody else will be doing
next, knocking them down, knocking them down.
Because, like he said, the logic part is that there's not enough people, men, to go with us women. We outweigh y'all. We outweigh y'all. Point blank, period. And so, like he said, it's either going to be she, he, him, dog, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Dog. He, him, dog.
So it's 2 dudes and a dog?
Yeah, it's out there.
Wow. I ain't ready. I'm going back.
So let's talk about
the morning service. We're gonna do.
We in church right now.
But 2 dudes and a dog. That's taking me too fast.
But it's the true stuff.
All right. So so having said that, that everybody won't get married. and we talked about singleness. Here's what I coach, and let me know your thoughts about this statement. I always try to tell people that singleness is the goal. Singleness is the goal. And I even as I'm coaching married couples, I'll say the same thing. Singleness is the goal. Not that they need to separate, but they need to not neglect themselves in this process. If they're going to be in a relationship, you still can't neglect yourself. So I think if we learn to practice singleness on a daily basis, so that's why singleness is the goal. So people trying to rush to get married, it's like singleness is the best place you can be. One, to fix you, to heal you, to check you before you wreck you. And singleness definitely is the goal. So speak a little bit more on that, because you all are in a relationship, but you all are definitely strong individuals. So I see you all even as a couple, but I see you all as individuals as well. So speak on that a little bit.
So singleness is the goal, because my personal theory is you can have a successful marriage if you haven't mastered singleness.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I believe what happens is we get in trouble is because we don't begin, if we are that fortunate, we don't begin to master singleness until we get married. And that's where the turbulence comes from.
That part. And I was going to say that. I was going to say, you made the statement, you said, I noticed that the two of you, although you're married, you both are strong individuals. Understand that we didn't become those strong individuals before we got together.
Right.
We became those strong individuals as a unit when we realized that we needed to fix our own ish in order for us to fix us. And like you said, we had to fix our own ish before we could fix us. And so a lot of people, you said, need to master being single.
Yeah.
And if you master being single, when you get in a relationship, you don't have to use over a percentage of your relationship trying to figure out what's wrong with you. But you can fix on you. You can work on each other.
So would you agree that most relationships, and we're not talking about marriage today, we're talking about
just relationships.
Just relationship goals. Are you suggesting that most relationships do not work because a person has not fallen in love with themselves?
Absolutely.
And they have not.
Absolutely.
And they have neglected.
Absolutely.
They're going to neglect their spouse.
If they neglect themselves, they're going to neglect the spouse. If they neglect themselves, they're going to neglect the spouse. If they don't take care of themselves, they're not going to take care of their spouse. If they don't take care of themselves, they're not going to take care of their spouse. If they don't take care of themselves,
take care of yourself.
They're not going to take care of their person that's in their life, the other person that's in their life.
Raise the value in yourself.
Absolutely. So the problem with the relationship, and watch this, divorces or separation in any type of relationship happens because you don't know who you are. And if you knew who you were, the other person could deter you from loving them like they need to be loved because you know who you are. And that's the problem.
We always say that purpose is either going to go together or
they're going to grow apart.
So the magic and the secret to us, we figured out a formula that when we change and when we evolve and when we grow and when our purposes change, we stay glued at the hip. But a lot of relationships start here and they go here because they don't master singleness, right? So they can become one truly and grow together. They figure singleness out halfway in the relationship and they start doing this and they can't figure out how to come back together again.
And the reason why when they grow as individuals in the relationship and they grow apart is because in their singleness in the relationship, they didn't hold each other accountable.
And because they didn't hold each other accountable, they couldn't respond to each other. And so now you're sitting in a 5, 6, 10-year irresponsible relationship.
Wow. That's so much to chew on. And I'm telling you, you are going to have to watch this particular podcast probably like 5, 6 times just to process all the nuggets and great information that's going forth. I want to talk about the difference between guys and girls. In that, I feel like that society as a whole do little girls an extreme disservice because they domesticate them at 2 years old by giving them responsibility of a baby and a house and a little kitchen and all this crazy stuff. And I think that sets up young girls. So Sheila Speaks, I want you to speak to this. I think it sets up young girls for a lot of tragedy and unnecessary heartache, because they grow up reaching for that which they've been groomed sort of kind of for at 3 or 4 years old. And so, as I know, me as a little boy, I had a little truck and I was good. I wasn't thinking about that level of responsibility in life. And so if society says that women mature faster than boys do, it's only because they've been domesticated from 2 years old. So Sheila Speaks, speak to that and how I feel it's an extreme injustice that we do to our little girls in this society. So speak to that a little bit.
I mean, simply because the injustice is because they're training us to think that the only way our life will work is if we're in a relationship with a white picket fence, with a dog, and with 3 kids. They're telling us that. They're making women think.
It's selling the American dream. You ready for this?
They're making women think that we cannot do anything without a man. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And so it causes us to be insecure when we can't get it right. We can't cook right. When we can't clean up right. When we can't do what we need to do for the husband correctly. So what we do is, because we're insecure in the relationship, we become insecure within ourselves, and we only become the housewife, and we only become clean and full, and we only cook, but we got more in us than just being barefoot and pregnant. But that's how they train us.
That's this westernized society. And I keep saying that in this world, the feminine needs to be healed.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And when I say feminine, I'm not talking about a woman. No. I'm talking about the energy, the yin yang, the energy duality. The feminine energy in this earth, in this realm, needs to be healed. And the only way that it's going to properly be healed is through the masculine.
Yeah. That's real.
We have to protect, we have to heal, we have to secure and cover our women. Yeah. And the feminine energy that our women and our men possess. Every man possesses feminine energy. Yeah. Sometimes it's off balance. Yeah. Sometimes it's too low. Yeah. Sometimes it's too high. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if we heal the feminine through the masculine, we can bring that into balance in both human species, in both genders, the male and the female. When there's a healthy balance, you don't have to worry about, oh, there's certain things a man can do, or certain things a woman can do, or a woman can't lead, or a woman can't do this, or a man can't cook, or a man can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that part right there, making women think that men can't be domesticated like we are, that's a bunch of BS. Point blank and period. Because he can wash dish just like I can wash dish. Absolutely. He can sweep the floor just like I can. Now, the only thing he probably can do is carry a baby like me. But other than that,
and that's what makes them die. And that's what makes them. That's what makes me die. Shut up, man. If you can't carry a baby for 9 months and push one out, shut up. The argument is won.
Done.
They are superior. Now get on your job and heal her,
and sweep that floor,
so she can make you some more babies. So we can reproduce and make more kings and queens and gods in the earth. You understand what I'm saying?
We've been programmed. Us females have been programmed to think that if we don't have that in our life, then we're not successful. Right. And I think for me personally, I grew up with that image of being a wife, being a mother.
It's a generational thing. You saw your mom and your mom saw that, or how you saw that.
I saw it on the TV. I saw the little girl with the kitchen, and hey, I made myself in the kitchen and washing the dishes. You know what I'm saying?
The shows that were the reason why it's called a television program for a reason. Leave It to Beaver, Father Knows Best, Donna Reed. I know I'm reaching way back because that's when they started this in the 40s and 50s, that white picket fence thing, barefoot and bringing the Donna Reed show. She was a housewife. He was Dr. Stone, the husband was a doctor who went out and got it. He had a high professional career. She was at home, baking pies, fanning flies, fixing the kids' lunch. Hi, honey, I'm home. You know what I'm saying? That's my mother the car. And Southern show. You know, Leave It to Beaver. You know what I'm saying? Lassie. All those old shows showed the female in the domesticated position. When they showed the children, the husband went to work, the mother stayed in the kitchen. The children, the little girl, like Gentry said, had the dollhouse and the doll, changing the baby doll's baby, helping mama out with the baby brother. Y'all ain't talking to me. And the little boy had the truck and stuff. and the little action figures and whatnot. Everybody's being conditioned and trained to play their role in society when they get a certain age.
Right. But here's my question. Was there ever, and I can't remember because y'all my memory like that. Was there ever a point in these commercialized
right, I just said 80s. That's why
in these commercialized things that females were taught that we could go out and get a job.
Right.
That we could go out and be a business owner. That we could go out and we could run the business.
Right.
That was never taught to us. We had to make it known that we could go out and run the business. We had to go do it, but nobody ever told us that we could. That's why in some of us, i.e. like myself, it takes you years and years and years to recognize who you are and step into your glory as a woman and as a female to your glory.
Say it again.
Into your glory.
Step into your glory
as a woman and a female when you recognize that I am more than just cooking your dinner and cleaning your clothes. I'm more than that. I'm intellectual as well. I can speak as well. I can go put on a two-piece suit as well. They got suits out there for women. I can go put on one too and walk into the boardroom and state my claim as well. And that's the problem with society today. That's why women fight so hard. We are so happy to have our first female Black vice president. That's amazing. She fought her way to that place. Okay. So yeah.
That's dope. What would you say to and so I know a lot of people will hear this and there'll be some moments of clarity and there'll be some breaking because of the clarity, right? So what would you say to the little girl, because that's what it is, even though she may be an adult, she's a little girl that feels like they have SheliaSpeaks speaks to this, feel like their clock is ticking, whatever the hell that
biological clock.
Yeah, this biological clock is ticking. And would you also say that society, because I want to break some of this stuff, society has made women feel bad if they can't procreate, or if they don't procreate, then sometimes they feel less than if they don't procreate or give birth to a child. Society is sort of kind of jacked up. So what would you say to a female that's going through a depressed sort of kind of right now? It's Valentine's Day. They're alone and they're realizing that they've been programmed wrong. How do they reprogram themselves to become what they need to be?
It goes back to self-love. If we fall in love with ourselves in these moments of Valentine's Day, Christmas, all these holidays that cause you to need somebody, or need somebody to hold on to, or need somebody to send you flowers, or need somebody to send you candy. Need. You understand what I'm saying?
That's strong.
If you feel the need yourself, like you said, maximize your singleness.
Right.
Maximize your singleness. If you maximize the love that you have within, then it doesn't matter what happens on the outside, because you fulfill the love on the inside. So when nobody shows you love on the outside, you say, you know what? Today, I'm going to send me some flowers from a secret admirer. And that secret admirer is you.
For real.
I'm just saying. So because we haven't been trained to think that we gotta have somebody in our life to do these things, even for those women out there that can't have children or have not had children, like you say, biological clock ticking. Ain't no clock ticking. The clock is ticking because you turned it on.
The clock is
you turned the clock on. You turned the clock on. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Turn the clock off.
And don't hit the snooze button.
Don't hit it. Just let it run.
Smack like in those cartoons. You know the cartoons. You know the cartoons when you know they get tired of the clock keep going off and they take that big wooden hammer and they smash it. Don't hit the snooze button. No, that's the problem. Y'all keep hitting snooze because you want to save something for later. You don't have enough confidence. Yeah, get confidence in yourself.
So my thing is when it concerns the ticking clock thing. Like, I'm almost 50 years old. And at this point in my life, whatever's going to happen in my life is going to happen. Whatever's not going to happen is not going to happen. So I'm satisfied. And the only reason why I can make that statement, Gentry, and everybody that's watching, the only reason why I can make that statement that whatever's going to happen in my life is going to happen at this point is because I know who I am. And I know who I'm not. So I'm okay.
No, you know what's more important is what you said.
I know who I'm not. I know who I'm not. So I don't put things on myself that I myself cannot contain or cannot hold. I'm not going to give you ready for this? I'm not going to give you no seafood because I know what it do to you.
Right.
But I can have seafood. I can hold the seafood. You can't. So why put something on you or somebody else that they can't hold, or they don't have the stomach to digest? Life is hard. Life is hard for all of us, even the ones that are in relationships. Life is still hard, but it's up to you how it flows. Whether it goes continue to be hard, whether you keep worried about your clock ticking or not, man, let that clock run. You'll be fine. You might be 95 years old and have a baby. That's okay.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah. Listen, these conversations are revolutionary on so many ways, because there are so many people talking about relationships today, and it's all boxed in. You know, it's all in a box. It's all pretty and packaged. It's in a container. And this is what people will probably even say is a new way of thinking as it relates to relationships. I have definitely been screaming that singleness is definitely something that we all should pursue, and we should never get tired of pursuing singleness, even when we're involved or get into a relationship, whatever that looks like for anybody individually. So I definitely want to, and I know a lot of this, you all learn from each other as it relates to your relationship and how your relationship works. So there's a lot of great information that people can gather from your experience. But wouldn't you also say that everybody's, people shouldn't look at yours and be like, if I don't have that, then I don't want it? And don't you feel like that sort of kind of thinking is sort of kind of crazy as well? And we've got to help people to see that each one, if you're going to be married, if you don't get married for a purpose, you all out of whack anyway. So help people to understand that what they see in you, they may not attain in their life, because everybody's unique situation is different.
That's the problem. They won't attain. And let me be fair. It only sounds crazy to an awakened mind, because the reason why they're saying, if I can't have that, I don't want it, is because of how we started this dissertation, this talk, this dialogue. We started it talking about that we all came to this world preconditioned. We were raised being conditioned, okay? And so what they see, the images of what we have, what they see looks like what the programming gave them. It looks like Leave It to Me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It looks like Father Knows Best. You know, and so, but they're looking at 24 years of practicing.
Yes. And working
and perfecting
on yourself.
On ourselves.
That is the reason why we are where we are.
They're not looking at 24 years of growth of a relationship. They're looking at 24 years of self-growth.
Individuals.
And it shows up in the relationship.
That part.
And so with that being said, it is sound crazy. But it's only crazy to an awakened mind that understands that that's all fluff. That's all smoke and mirrors. That the believer thing isn't real. What we have is pure magic, and nobody can have what we have. Now, not saying they can't have something that's magical and perfect for them, but they can have this. This only works for us. So hang it up. So if you're going to hook up with somebody, hook up with them and see what happens.
For all the right purposes.
For all the right purposes.
For all the right purposes. For all the right purposes. What any relationship, whether it be platonic, friendship, love, whatever, relationship, business-wise, you need to understand the purpose of the relationship. If you don't understand the purpose of the relationship, you're going to mess it up. You are not going to accomplish anything that you need to accomplish in that relationship if you don't understand the purpose. I understand his purpose in my life, and he understands the purpose in my life and in his life. So because we understand that, we know how to interact with each other to help us get to our individual purposes and goals, and our goals together as a couple. But you got to know what the purpose is of the relationship.
And yours.
And this is the problem, Gentry, a lot of people have. And I know you didn't ask this question, but I'm saying a lot of people often get in relationships thinking that this is the one. Oh Lord, this is the one. But deep down inside, that's a seasonal thing. While you trying to love on somebody and you want to love everybody come in your life, you want them to be your mate, that may not be the reason they're in your life. Again, it goes back to purpose. When you know what the purpose of a person's relationship is in your life, you won't abuse it, and you'll make sure that that purpose gets established and everything is hunky-dory from that point on.
That's facts. And let me say this too, because I find this to be so true. I feel like when people, these butterflies lie to people. in that most people will just take the butterflies, and I get it. The heart definitely wants what the heart wants, but I think most people you run with their heart and not their head. In that one, you got to understand the butterflies are there for a reason. Sure, they let you know, cool, I'm interested in this person. That's that. Then we have some type of chemistry. But then I think the head should come in and figure out where do we place this? Where does this relationship fit in my life? I feel like people fall too quickly. I feel like people jump too fast and cause unnecessary stress and heartache in their life because they get caught up in the butterflies and they don't use the head to process what's actually happening. So speak to that if you understand what I'm saying. Speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you. We've been talking about in our series on Cosmic Conversations. I've actually been using a Christian scripture that's very popular. Beloved, I wish that you were prosperous and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And I've been explaining that the soul, when you see that, is talking about the head. It's talking about your mind. It's talking about your intellect and also your emotions. You talked about the butterflies. The emotion, those butterflies that's your emotions all over the place. You're an emotional roller coaster. You're a wreck right now. Remember now, your emotions aren't your heart. I'm going to say it again. Your emotions aren't your heart. And a lot of people get caught up in their emotions thinking that it's their heart, when in fact, they're just being emotional. And so you have to make sure that your head is straight. This is what we're talking about. Singleness is the goal. Singleness is the goal. You have to work on self. You have to work on your mind. You have to work on your body. And you have to work on your spirit. Your soul, your body, and your spirit before you give your soul, your body, and spirit to another. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is so important. So your mind, the soul is made up of 5 components: your mind, your will, your emotions, your imaginations, and your intellect. Now, do you see why I say 20 is too early to say, hey, I want to be with this person for the rest of my life? You don't even know what's in your mind. You don't even know what your stubborn will is.
There's no balance.
Your emotions are all over the place. Your imagination is dead. And your intellect, well, you haven't read enough books yet. Okay? So we have to work on that. And so, beloved, I wish that you were prosperous and be in good health and have a healthy relationship, marriage, or whatever it is that you want in life, even as your mind, your will, and your emotions, and your imaginations, and your intellect set in order and balance and heal. Unpack your baggage before you attempt to unzip somebody else's luggage.
And he said a whole bunch and all of that. And the main thing I got out of what he said was master your singleness. Master that.
Master yourself.
Master
self.
Master yourself.
Self-mastery. Let's go.
It's all about you.
And the problem, let me leave that. I know you got to go, but let me say this. I know it's been let me say this. Self-mastery, that's so good. Master yourself. Self-mastery. Because I always say this. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Last thing was I promise. When we get a divorce, 5 years, 10 years, some people, I've seen them 30 years, and they walk away from it. I've seen it. But I found out that when we get a divorce, thank you, self-mastery. When we get a divorce, it has nothing to do with something that happened that day, but it's always tied into, while I'm going somewhere though, that happened during the courtship, during the dating. Watch this. Because what happens is we see something, we see the BS that we don't like and it gets under our skin. We don't deal with it. And when we don't deal with it, it suggests to the other party that we're willing to live with that BS. Watch this as we get confronted. Why do we deal with it? Because we think that we're going to change them in the next 3 or 4 years, when in fact, the only person you can change
is you.
And so the problem is, the reason why we get mad at them is because we see the ugly part of us showing up in them. Because we do attract ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so instead of fixing us,
we try to fix them first.
When in fact, the only person that we can fix.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Okay. Hands down.
So we have to unpack that. We have to unpack the mind, the will, the emotions, the imagination. That's a lot. You can't do that by 19. Yeah. You can't do that. And I keep saying it because I got married at 19 years old, which I don't regret it. But there's a lot of young bucks that ain't ready for this. It's hard out here for them. Get your soul in order and be in good health, even as your soul prospers.
Yeah, listen. So we have a few minutes, and I remember my first moments of clarity. I remember doing it. We had just moved to Oakland, and I remember I did my first podcast. And one of the things that I said, I was talking about the pandemic because of the pandemic. I was saying because of this pandemic and people sort of kind of have to force quarantine, that there are one or two things that are going to happen. Either we're going to see a lot of divorces, or people are going to get their ish together and heal their marriage and grow. But that's it. There's no in between. And so I'll speak to that a little bit, especially where we're in a pandemic and people sort of kind of have to force quarantining with each other. How do you start the process of healing for someone that may be in that position?
As far as somebody sitting in this middle of this pandemic and deciding that they don't want to be together anymore, that's the question.
The question is whether they are, because I mean, it's a decision that has to be made one way or the other, whether they're going to heal the situation and move forward, or make a conscious decision to divorce that this thing is not working. So, what is the? How do they start? Let's say if they're going to do the healing process, how do they start with this healing process?
Well, let me say this though. It's going to be a culture shock because they haven't worked on it prior. They're going to find out a whole lot of stuff they didn't know because they're forced to deal with each other. They're forced to share the space longer than they intended to, and they have nowhere to run.
That is a healing process, and people that are in quarantine right now and getting tired of each other, there is no healing process. Because just like George said, they did not confront this before they had to sit in the room 24, 48 hours together.
Yeah, you're a power kid.
So at the end of the day, there really is probably no fixing this situation. It would probably be best to separate so they can deal with themselves outside of themselves and outside of the other person that's sitting in front of them that they want to put all the blame on. It's your fault we get into divorce. It's your fault. No, it's not. It's both of y'all fault because y'all didn't talk about when y'all first had money issues 5 years ago. You let that person spend all the money and not pay the bills, and now you mad because y'all sit in a situation that you can't have.
Now, the flip side of that is that a couple that really loves each other and really is meant for each other.
Right.
And, you know, they don't really have any bad ish of blood. They really have done a good job of confronting things and nipping things in the bud. This quarantine will help them by realizing they've been taking each other for granted. They've been taking life for granted. They've been taking relationships for granted. And it forces them to spend more quality time and shut out the outside world and get to know each other a little bit better and build a beautiful relationship. But if it's a marriage that was already teetering silent and they were staying together for all the wrong reasons, the kids, wait till high school, wait till they graduate, all that, they're waiting. It's the ticking time bomb. It's a power kid. And that's where you get to the other statistics. We're going to have more divorces, more domestic violence. I guarantee you, I haven't done the statistics, but I guarantee you that more police officers were called out during COVID-19 for domestic violence, for arguments.
I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Google it. I guarantee you. I guarantee.
Because a lot of frustrations are able to come to the surface now that we're all sitting.
And you can't go nowhere.
You can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. So you are sitting in this space with this person that, guess what, you really don't like anyways. You really don't like. So
Listen,
I can put it with you because I'm going to work 8 hours out of the day. So by the time I get home, you done cook dinner. We sitting down, we eating dinner. We may talk a little bit about my day. Then, oh, I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep. See you tomorrow. I ain't got to see you for 2 hours out of the whole day. But now I got to see you 24 hours. I really never liked you.
See, it's a problem when you're in a relationship and, you know, sex becomes scarce. But what happens when watch this. What happens when the sex and the conversation goes out?
Right. That part. That part.
Listen, this is so amazing. I know the podcast is scheduled for an hour, and I almost don't want to stop it. So we have to schedule another time.
We'll come back. We'll come back. This is fun.
This is freaking phenomenal, and I think you're helping our viewers to look at themselves differently, obviously, because that's the goal. And so I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your love day to hang out with me. I think this is dope. The conversations are all the conversations we have in real life are always on point. They're always just great. And so this is we're sort of kind of letting people into a conversation that we would have any given day, just about life and just about, you know, real stuff. And this is crazy. When I say this is crazy, so Are your admins in here? I got to get with your administrative people so I can so I can get.
Yeah,
I can get.
You can get with one of the three, and they will put you on the schedule.
So I can get with your administrative people.
I really hate you right now. I really do.
Really do.
We'll talk about it
really
later.
Do.
We won't do this on a while.
Yeah, we'll be nice. We won't take you out right now.
But let me tell you, we have to. We must do this again for real. We're on Big O too, ladies and gentlemen. There's 300 people on Big O. We sitting on the panel right now. There's 300 people on Big O right now, enjoying this, commenting, throwing gifts. So we must do this again. Gentry, thank you for inviting us. We want to have the end of the way. You call, we come.
This is crazy. So I definitely want to continue this series as much as possible, and I think it's one because people just hadn't been exposed to the right information. Right. And people have been so this gonna sound ugly, but people have been so whitewashed, and people have been so religious washed, which is whitewashed, same thing. But I have this podcast called Moments of Clarity for that very reason, to help people get clear about who they are as an individual, and clear about who they are supposed to be to society. The world doesn't change without either one of us. But in order for the world to change, we have to start that. We have to ignite that. So the change starts with us. So the world doesn't change without you individually, but you have to change. As you change, as you evolve, as you become the best version of you, as you fall in love with you, then you are ready to heal everything that's in you and heal everything that's around you, because you become one with you, and you enjoy you. You enjoy being with you. And so if you want to master your singleness, you have to master being okay with being by yourself and being okay with being alone. As a single man, before Thug Rona, I would take myself to the movies. I would take myself to dinner. I would go and buy myself. When I say I would take care of Gentry, I would take care of him. I promise you I will. So listen, but that also sets me up also to not let anybody else in my life that don't bring the same level of quality that I give to myself.
Say that. You said something right there. If I can take care of me, and I can glorify me, and I can take myself out to dinner, if I can buy myself an outfit, honey, you can't come short of that. If I'm going to Red Lobster, you better doggone be. You ain't taking me to Mickey D's.
That's for sure.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
Oh, OMG. So listen, this was dope. This has been I think this has probably been the best Moment of Clarity episode that I've had. And so I appreciate you all, because this ain't work for us. This is what we do in real life. We talk to we get these clarities every time we're around each other, these moments of clarity. And so this is, again, just us letting you into our conversations, and we're going to continue these conversations. Be following me, follow Just George, follow SheliaSpeaks. They're on Facebook, they're also on Instagram. You can find out more about them, find out more about so many great things they do. They have been married 24 years, but they've been inspiring couples all over the world for that same window of time, by just being honest and being open and being transparent. One, they're that way with themselves, so they bring that to you as well. And I think those attributes help us to heal. Honesty helps you heal. Honesty with yourself, realness with yourself helps you heal you and fix you. So stop that lying. Don't lie to yourself, please. Please stop lying to you.
By yourself.
Inside joke, y'all. Inside joke. I want to make a quick announcement. This is the perfect place to make the announcement. In fact, Gentry's working on the flyer as we speak. But To Those Souls, and we did this today as a little test. This is what it'll look like. To Those Souls is a new show that's coming to Big O every Tuesdays. Hey, Gail. Hey, Gail. Hey, cuz. Every Tuesdays on Big O at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have a new show, and it's a panel show. It's a 5-man panel show called Connect 4 with To Those Souls. Connect 4. And it's a therapy panel for couples. For couples. It's intuitive group counseling. For all couples. I don't care what kind of couple you are. It's not about marriage. No. And so basically what happens is Sheila and I are the hosts, right? So it's To Those Souls. That's 2. And then we also will have a DJ there. So one of the panels will be a DJ. So we have great jazz music, easy listen. It's gonna be real dope. So get your wine and unwind. And then we have 3 other panel seats that will be open for 3 couples. It costs a shield to sit on this panel because we charge $200 and $300 an hour for what we're about to do. So we charge a shield to get on the panel. You throw a shield, you get on the panel as a couple. You can't get on the panel by yourself.
Gotta bring your
partner. Both partners have to be present.
We need both of them.
We allow each one by one to start expressing their woes, start talking. And he did, and she, and that, and then we say stop, because the intuitiveness will kick in, and then we read them for Phil, tell them what's broken in each one of them, and then we put them all back together again. We put them back together. Like Humpty Dumpty. And then we send them on their way. And they fix. And then we let another couple. Broken. It's called Connect 4 because it's 2 people connecting with 2 people. And we're connecting to bring therapy to relationships. Because our relationships don't need to end. Our relationships don't need to start over. Our relationships aren't broken. They just need therapy. Relationships, the 2 parties need to be heard, and they need a mediator. They need a mediator that's intuitive and knows how to coach them through their own BS. Because they haven't learned how to unpack themselves, how to own their singleness, and they haven't learned how to OYS.
Right. But a lot of people, the reason why we decided to do it is because a lot of people in relationships need to hear themselves. Who's coming to that? You need to hear yourself speak. They need to hear themselves speak. They need to hear themselves speak about the other person so that we can digest what you just said. Because sometimes when one party's talking and the other one's listening, you're not hearing what they're saying. You're only hearing what you want to respond to. You're missing. There's missing in the conversation. So with this panel, you sit there, we talk it out, we hear you, we hear that person, and we tell the other person what you missed and what you didn't hear. That's what this panel is all about. That's what it's all about.
Listen here. We're gonna have a conversation because we might just try to figure out how to do that on this panel. As well. I think it's dope, and I think even adding an element for single people, I think that's dope as well, because they need to hear they're crazy as well, and then be challenged to be better. And so, hey man, let's do it. Let's do it. Even if it's on an odd day, let's pick a day. Let's set it up and let's promote that. I think that is so healthy for correcting all the mistakes that's in our society as it relates to what people have been programmed to envision what a couple should be. And so I think that sort of kind of disrupt that norm. And so I'm here for it. I'm here for that right now. And so, yeah, I think that's dope. We are definitely out of time, but we definitely aren't out of spit. Trust. We are definitely not out of spit. This is for certainly my favorite couple. I love them. I've known them forever, and we don't even call each other friends. We're beyond that. We're brother, we're sister, and we're family. We look out for each other. We take care of each other. If you want to fight, just mess with either one of them. I promise you, you're gonna get the act right. You're gonna get. We're gonna get. I promise you. These are my favorite people, and there's so much that they have to say to couples in wherever state you're in, whether if you're single, if you are married, if you are engaged, if you undecided, there is a lot that this couple has to say to help you find the balance, to help you find the true, authentic you. So listen, keep following us, follow them on Facebook, follow them on YouTube, follow them on Instagram as well, and Twitter as well. And so you'll be getting some updates as we put this whole idea together. There's definitely on Tuesday. Listen, I am shutting down Lip Sync Battle because of that, because I'm going to be right in there. When I say I'm going to be right in there on Tuesday, don't listen. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry. I'm going to send all of them right over there. Because that's just play. That's just play. And people need some realness. People need that level of realness and rawness in their life to help them become the best version of themselves. I love to play. I promise you I love to play. But I love healing more than anything else. Because that's how we get to our next level of blessing, right? And so we're doing it. So Tuesday's gonna be dedicated to this. I promise you, on every level. And guess what? I'm so excited about. I may have that flyer for you today, bro. Because that thing now, it's just lit a fire.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm excited about it simply because watch this, Trey. We have learned what it means to be in a relationship,
and we're learning.
And we're constantly
learning
and evolving. Not in the relationship, but in ourselves. And as we grow in ourselves, the relationship grows with it.
Boom.
So be it. Right?
Who would entertain in the comments over here? Who would entertain a Connect 4, a relationship therapy panel, an open group counseling session that's intuitive and psychic as well, but also medicinal?
And real. Because if you're wrong, you're wrong. We're not going to, I don't care if somebody get on the panel that I've been knowing all their marriage. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
Your cousin, family.
If you're wrong, you're right. Right, cousin? If you're wrong, you're wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's one thing that George and I do not do in couples relationship counseling. We do not take sides. I don't care if you're my kinfolk. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Period.
Because it be people, we want y'all to get you.
No, you don't. Are you sure you want to?
You know, because and people they be shocked because it'll be someone that we're real close to,
right?
And their spouse or partner, we don't know them at all, and they're afraid because they think we're going to be biased, right? When they get here, we drag the person that we're close to through
because the person that's close to us thinks
they're the ones that's actually wrong.
So we're going to fix that.
But they don't think we're going to call that out.
We don't do that. We don't take sides with people that we've been knowing. We don't do that. We don't take nobody's sides in a relationship because we've learned that there's two sides to every story and there's one in the middle that may be right or wrong.
Listen here. Hey, guys, listen. Stay tuned. This is freaking phenomenal. This has lit a fire. I hope it's lit a fire under you like it's lit under me. Again, in the areas where we need it the most, and that's in the area of healing, right? So I want you to definitely stay tuned. Follow Two Dope Souls. They have merchandise. You can get more information about there on all their pages. I want you to you can go to this website right here, and you can get some information about some of their products. But also, it's my t-shirt company. It's L3G Urban Wear, and you can find some Two Dope Souls wear. You can find some Gentray wear. This is my t-shirt company. Go there, patronize Two Dope Souls for what they do and what they bring. I'm telling y'all ain't seen nothing yet. There's a reality show that's coming. So many great things to work with this particular couple, and I'm so excited for them. And so definitely follow them and follow all the great things that they're doing globally. Watch this through online media.
That part.
That's the
worldwide, baby.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm telling you. They're maximizing an amazing season that's on their life, and I'm just watching it, and I'm enjoying the ride. So, Two Dope Souls, thank you so much again for being a part of Moments of Clarity. And listen, it's just the beginning. It's about to go down. So definitely follow Two Dope Souls. And listen, I want you to stay positive. Most importantly, stay positive. Positivity is a choice. You get to choose every day you wake up. Life is really what you make it. So choose positivity. Choose to be positive. In spite of what's going on, choose to be positive. Choose to be hopeful, because it won't be this way always. Listen, change your mind about your situation. It's going to get better. You know why? Because you're going to make it better. You're going to make it better. You're going to make your life great. So be positive, stay creative, and most importantly, my people, stay clear. Thank you, Two Dope Souls. We'll see you next time. All right, let's go.